Okay, so.
But that's not a diss. Meek likes being brought up in that song. I don't know why you lowering his thing. You think you're doing him a favor. He's very, very happy being mentioned, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Nicki Minaj has remained completely silent throughout the unfolding Meek Mill and Diddy drama, but sometimes silence speaks the loudest.
I'm at a point in my life like, we all grew up in the streets.
After Jaguar Wright made a bold claim that Nicki was the one who leaked the now infamous audio of Meek and Diddy arguing, the internet instantly went into investigation mode. And the results? Let's just say things aren't looking good for Meek Mill right now. While Nicki hasn't said a single word publicly, the timing of everything feels a little too perfect, almost like this was a calculated move, years in the making, just waiting for the right moment to strike.
Hey, what's up, King Son? Man, you doing it, man. You deserve it, Daddy. You putting in that work. Proud of you. I love you. Yeah.
And when you look at it through that lens, the silence becomes strategic. Nicki might have been sitting on this information, letting it simmer, just waiting to turn the tables and shut down Meek's current narrative, the one where he paints himself as Diddy's manipulated victim, starring in a sad little redemption arc that suddenly feels manufactured. Because let's not forget, if Nicki really was behind the leak, she knows exactly how deep this story goes. She's seen the inside. She knows the context. And her decision to stay quiet, that might be more damaging than words. Now, here's where it all escalates.
Wait, what does that sound authentic?
It absolutely. Oh my God.
You get these vulnerable people, parents are letting you do this because they want to make it so badly.
Yeah.
And then you record them probably and say, if you do anything, we got this on you.
Back in March of last year, a clip hit the internet that completely shattered timelines across social media. A leaked audio recording, allegedly capturing a moment between Meek and Diddy, quickly went viral. The tone, far from professional. The internet lit up with fans dissecting the voices, dropping timestamps, and breaking it down like it was courtroom evidence. Meek responded fast. He claimed the clip was AI generated, another deepfake, a digital setup. He said it was a smear campaign designed to take him down. But if the truth behind that leak connects back to Nicki, this story's just getting started, and the fallout could hit way harder than anyone expected. Meek Mill went straight to social media after the audio leak, dropping lines like, "My voice is so powerful, they wanted it gone." He blamed bots, digital warfare, and hinted at an elite smear campaign targeting him. But the internet?
They had a recording of Meek and Diddy.
Making love?
I don't know if it was love.
Okay, you have it? Let's hear it.
What?
Yo, wait a minute. Wait,
You didn't hear this?
no.
Now, Miran, what does that sound authentic?
It absolutely. Oh my God.
Not convinced. That spin didn't land. Because long before that audio surfaced, there were already whispers. Not about business meetings or music deals, but about Meek and Diddy's unusually close connection. We're talking matching fits, private flights, inside jokes, surprise gifts, and hugs that felt a little too familiar. And the public took notes. So when the tape hit timelines, it wasn't shock, it was confirmation. People weren't surprised. They were like, "We've been new." That's when Jaguar Wright jumped in and flipped the conversation upside down. Known for shaking the room every time she speaks, Jaguar dropped a bomb, claiming it was Nicki Minaj who recorded the audio. Not only that, she said it happened at a wild private party out in Calabasas, what she called a freak-off. According to her, Nicki held onto that tape like a nuke, just waiting for the right time to hit the button. And if Jaguar's telling the truth, this changes everything. That means Nicki's been sitting on this audio since her breakup with Meek, keeping it locked away, waiting for the perfect storm. Even more intense,
He got Meek Mill, and it's all coming out in a lawsuit. Meek Mill was named in Diddy's latest lawsuit, and it is not looking good.
Jaguar claimed Nicki originally had no plan to expose Diddy. The tape wasn't meant for him, it was for Meek. But now that Diddy's entire empire is cracking under pressure, she had no reason to keep his name hidden, and if that's the case, the silence from Nicki, It's not hesitation, it's a strategy, and the chessboard just got way more complicated. Suddenly the audio surfaces. Meek's scrambling to explain, and Nicki, she's over there sipping wine and liking tweets like it's just another calm Tuesday. Still, some dismissed the situation, saying Jaguar Wright always brings drama. But then, out of nowhere, an old Nicki clip started making the rounds. And that changed everything. In a quiet podcast appearance from way back, Nicki casually mentioned that Meek likes controversy. She said he's the kind of person who enjoys being talked about, even when the topic is messy. At the time, it sounded like typical X talk, maybe a little shady, but nothing too deep. Now, that clip is making waves for a whole different reason. Fans are calling it Nicki's soft launch for chaos, a warning shot, a planted seed, something to look back on once everything fell apart. Because in that moment, her tone wasn't bitter, it was confident, like she already knew the storm was coming, and she was just waiting for the right time to let it unfold. With the resurfaced clip, the internet's buzzing.
We got a lawsuit, so the Lil Rod lawsuit we got.
Yeah, I read through the whole thing.
And it didn't mention Meek by name, but there was a
Said
footnote.
A Philly rapper who used to
redacted
date
the name.
Nicki Minaj.
It was like a Jeopardy question.
Duh, who
Yeah.
is that? There could only be one person on the planet. Unless
So-
there's a Philly rapper that also dated Nicki that no one knows about, it's obviously Meek Mill.
So essentially, I reacted to, like, I literally found out on stream. I'm like, yo, no way Meek Mill was in these freaks.
People are saying Nicki's playing chess, Meek's out here playing Connect 4. And the way things are lining up, they might not be wrong. As lawsuits heat up and Meek's narrative keeps changing, Nicki's silence looks more like strategy than coincidence. She's calm, unbothered, and somehow always one move ahead. So once the Nicki leaked it theory started gaining traction, Meek visibly panicked. He hit social media hard, not just with complaints, but with action. Suddenly, he's tweeting about how his reputation is being targeted. And then came the big one. He offered $100,000 to uncover the person behind the so-called smear campaign, claimed someone was spreading false narratives tied to Calabasas. But if he truly believed that, then whoever recorded that audio might just hold the key to everything unraveling. He wanted names, and fast. But the internet responded quickly, and not in his favor. Critics immediately called out the move, saying, if you're truly innocent, why offer a whole house deposit to make it disappear? It came off less like confidence and more like desperation, either guilty or deeply afraid of what else might leak.
You think that audio that they put out was real?
Yeah, that was real.
Nicki put that out there. That Nicki recorded that at the freak off.
Making matters worse, fans caught something suspicious. Meek had deleted old tweets defending Diddy, the very figure he's now actively distancing himself from. One moment he's praising Diddy as a king, claiming people are unfairly dragging his name. The next, he's erasing the praise and playing online detective. People ask the obvious, what changed? Why now? Why the cleanup crew energy all of a sudden? Then came the lawsuit that sent shockwaves through the industry, the Lil Rod case. Dozens of pages filled with staggering allegations, but one line in particular had everyone stop cold. It referenced a Philadelphia rapper who once dated Nicki Minaj, implying this individual exchanged personal favors with Diddy in return for career opportunities. The clues weren't subtle, and neither was the fallout. That line lit the internet on fire. Then the narrative took an even darker turn, centered on an infamous 2014 birthday bash, a celebration allegedly held at a lavish Parisian-style mansion in Las Vegas. But this wasn't just a typical A-list party with champagne and celebrity selfies. According to claims tied to that night, the atmosphere was something else entirely, eerily exclusive, heavily guarded, and far more secretive than any red carpet event. It's the kind of gathering where reputations are either made or permanently damaged. And now, as new information continues to surface, that one party is becoming central to everything unraveling. According to reports, this was Diddy throwing a no-limit celebration for Meek Mill, an extravagant birthday bash that quickly spiraled into something far more controversial.
Calabasas.
Man.
She been waiting to drop that shit on Meek.
Oh, man.
She just wasn't gonna tell nobody it was Diddy. But now that Diddy out there, why not?
What allegedly happened inside that Las Vegas mansion has become a lightning rod for speculation and internet whispers. Once the party ended, the aftermath painted a disturbing picture. The property manager, Jason Haight, reportedly discovered broken glass, traces of narcotics, blood-stained sheets, and used condoms scattered throughout the estate. The scene didn't resemble a typical celebrity party. It looked more like the aftermath of something far more chaotic, something the public was never supposed to see. But the real shock wasn't just the debris, it was who was allegedly tied to the scene. Multiple reports began pointing fingers directly at both Meek Mill and Diddy, and yet despite everything swirling around, Meek still went online and tweeted his public support for Diddy. He wished him well, stood by his side, and acted as if nothing was amiss, even as online audiences demanded answers and accountability. However, not long after fans began to push back, that tweet vanished, deleted with no explanation, a digital disappearing act that left more questions than answers. Why defend someone so publicly, only to scrub the evidence when scrutiny intensifies? Unless, of course, someone is quietly trying to manage optics before the storm truly hits. And just when it felt like things couldn't grow any more awkward, the internet revisited a now viral clip that sent everything into overdrive. In the video, Diddy turns to Meek and says, "You deserve it, Daddy. I love you." The exchange, captured in a candid moment, felt unusually intimate. Maybe it was generational, maybe just an inside joke, but the tone, it was soft, personal, and uncomfortably suggestive. Context matters, and in this case, it only added fuel to the fire, especially when paired with past footage of Diddy using similar phrases during the infamous Drink Champs episode, where he repeatedly called other grown men daddy while reminiscing about private parties, late nights, and scrambling. Taken together, the pattern is beginning to raise serious questions. Even the podcast host looked visibly uncomfortable, laughing through the tension in that viral Diddy clip. Now, when stacking that moment alongside the alleged Meek Mill audio, the bizarre Vegas birthday party, the public support followed by tweet deletions, the situation starts to feel less spontaneous and more suspiciously orchestrated. Audiences aren't just raising eyebrows at isolated incidents. They're beginning to question the entire dynamic between the two. Was it simple friendship? A mentorship built on mutual benefit? Or was there something happening behind the scenes that only one of them truly wanted hidden? The questions are growing louder as new revelations continue to surface. And here's where the entire narrative takes a dramatic turn. With lawsuits mounting, damning footage going viral, and deleted posts stacking up, Meek Mill has reportedly shifted his stance. Word circulating behind the scenes suggests that Meek is now reframing his role in this saga. He's allegedly portraying himself not as a participant, but as someone manipulated, possibly even coerced by Diddy. According to the evolving narrative, Diddy was too powerful in the music world, and opposing him could have meant career suicide. Meek, according to these claims, felt trapped under the weight of Diddy's influence, unable to say no without risking everything. And to be fair, Diddy's industry reach is legendary. A cosign from him can launch a career, while a fallout can reportedly erase one. He's had a presence so dominant that artists often speak of him like a gatekeeper, one whose approval opens doors most never even see. But here's what's raising concern: the timing. If Meek truly felt manipulated, why didn't this come out earlier? Not when the Vegas stories made headlines. Not when the Drink Champs episode resurfaced. Not when the leaked tape spread across social media. Only now, when Diddy faces public and legal backlash, is this coercion angle coming to light. To some observers, this new victim narrative looks like strategy. A calculated pivot meant to salvage reputation, To others, it's a last-ditch effort to rewrite history before even more damaging truths are exposed. It's starting to sound like the only card left in Meek's deck. Whether it's a survival tactic or calculated pivot, this shift is dramatic, especially considering the tough tweets and loud support he was showing Diddy just a few months back. If Meek were the only artist with such a questionable connection, the public might dismiss it as speculation. But once the lens widens, a far more concerning pattern begins to take shape. Think about how aggressively Meek's music was promoted during that time. Think about how often he and Diddy were seen together, celebrating birthdays, toasting champagne, sharing stages and photo ops. It's not just the frequency of those moments, it's their familiarity. The same kind of celebrations, the same kind of smiles, and the same exact silence when the real questions started piling up. Some fans on social media began calling it the Diddy deal, a tongue-in-cheek way to describe what they believe is a transaction, loyalty or something more in exchange for access to fame, power, and exposure in the industry. And when viewed in that light, Meek's trajectory starts to resemble more than just coincidence. Because this situation doesn't feel isolated anymore. It appears connected to a broader cycle. Young artists aligning with Diddy, experiencing a meteoric rise, then gradually disappearing from the spotlight once the dynamic shifts. But Meek might be paying the steepest price yet. Instead of fading quietly, he tried to rewrite his story midstream, and the internet wasn't having it. Throughout the lawsuits, the leaked recordings, resurfaced podcast clips, and chaotic social media fallout, there's been one major silence that continues to echo. Nicki Minaj. No statements, no tweets, no subtweets, not even a reaction. And that's exactly what has people the most on edge. Because if Jaguar Wright's claim is true, if Nicki was behind the leaked audio, or if she even has more ammunition, then Meek is skating on dangerously thin ice. He's already battling the fallout of what's been made public. But if there's more, he might be facing something even worse. Nicki has been accused, mentioned, and dragged into the chaos. Yet she hasn't flinched. She hasn't taken the bait. She's letting the speculation build quietly. She's letting Meek spiral, trying to explain his way out of an unraveling narrative. It's as if she's holding every single card, simply waiting for the exact moment to place one down and flip the entire table. And fans are starting to feel the tension too. Some say she's already caused irreversible damage simply by staying silent, watching others fold under pressure. Others believe she's sitting on something even bigger, something that could shatter Meek's last line of defense. A receipt so precise it would erase the coercion excuse, dismantle any lingering sympathy, and expose the entire victim angle as a crafted illusion. Right now, Meek Mill appears caught in a desperate cycle of denial, distraction, and damage control. The leaked audio cracked the foundation of his image. The lawsuits widened those cracks. The Vegas party rumors and awkward viral clips took those fractures and split them wide open. Now, with attention mounting and timelines exposing inconsistencies, he's attempting to shift the story, portraying himself as a pawn, trapped inside an industry ruled by influence and coercion. But even if there's truth to that, it doesn't erase the optics. The timeline, the silence, and the contradictions have stacked up. And through it all, Nicki Minaj has remained completely still. Whether she's quietly holding a nuclear-level revelation or simply allowing Meek's own moves to destroy what's left, one thing is increasingly clear. If she decides to speak, it won't be in Meek's defense. It'll be the final word, the closer, the checkmate. Now we want to hear from you. Is Nicki Minaj staying silent as part of a long strategy? Or is Meek Mill simply unraveling without any outside push? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's unpack it all. And if you found this breakdown compelling, hit that like button, subscribe for more no-fluff analysis, and turn on notifications so you don't miss what's next. Because if you think this saga was wild, trust us. The next chapter in hip-hop chaos is already heating up. We'll see you there.